the day has come. A Jordan that is actually above Jordan 14 actually means something in the sneaker community. So we had it, I think it was a couple weeks back, and I wanted to kind of touch on it. I did a little bit more research. So on the 30th of May, so a couple weeks back, the Jordan 17 Low Lightning. Now, it's a Jordan 17, but it's actually a low, and the sneaker community went crazy. So I've been asking a lot of questions. Shout out to Dre, the shoe god, and many others I've talked to about this shoe. But this shoe, which originally released way back in 2002, and again, we're not talking about the 617-23. That was like a hybrid of three different shoes. We're talking about the OG 17. So originally it came out in 2002. It came out in this particular briefcase here, and retailed at $200. This is back when Jordan came back for this final time, this time with the Washington Wizards. It came in a college blue. There were other colors. There was the black chrome. There was the white and red, varsity red that came out. And then we got two lows. We got the UNC, and then we got this Jordan 17 Low Lightning. Now, the Lightning one was a very unique one. That one did come out right at All-Star. Jordan did wear this during the All-Star game. And that's, I think, what created some buzz. This is kind of like the last touch of, Jordan being an All-Star. We had many of the Jordan brand athletes wear it. Let's see, Darius Miles wore it. Ray Allen wore it. Quentin Richardson wore it. I think Michael Finley probably wore it. Definitely Mike Bibby, who loved lows and got many custom ones, probably wore it as well. But it's really interesting that we saw some excitement with the Jordan 17. And this is when when this one hit the market. This one really meant something. It was a performance shoe. It was one that was for the hardwood. This is one that you definitely would be wearing on court. Now, one funny thing about the shoe is it had this shroud on it. And as they made some 17 pluses, so there was the copper one that came out later that year. And then fast forward, if we kind of look at Trophy Room, and then even the 17 plus, the Bulls one specifically, along with the chrome one, or not the chrome one, the copper one, they didn't come with the shroud. There was some feedback whether people truly liked the shroud or didn't like the shroud, but it was like, Jordan was back. I think after lukewarm results with the 16, because it looked more like a fashion shoe than a functional basketball shoe. Many people didn't like the 15 because it was too heavy. And was very narrow toe box. This was a winner. That, and then ultimately moved into the 18, and even many did like the 19 as well. What's unique about this shoe, and actually I'm going to pop the briefcase open. This is, again, the old briefcase from 2002. There it is. I still have the CD for the red shoe. So that was unique about this shoe. Now, it did retail in the US $200. In Canada, it was $300. This is one of the most expensive Jordan shoes on the market. Think back to only 7 years prior when the Chris Webber, Air Max Chris Webber hit the market. It was the first $200 shoe on the market. Now we're at a $300 shoe. Granted, it did come with a briefcase, so there is some pieces that go along with that. And, well, what's the value of a briefcase? Well, it's special. This one, it's lasted 22 years. I've had some other ones that broke in. They didn't make it in some of my moves from Toronto to Vancouver and back again. But the CD-ROM could give you some highlights and some features of the shoe along with the Jordan team. If you look at this, again, the guys that are on here, we got Roy Jones Jr., we got Michael Finley, we got Darius Miles, we got Quentin Richardson. This is the Volume 3. So this was a very unique shoe, and they definitely went above the board with this one. Now, one I didn't mention, Countdown Pack, and that was a popular one only because it came with the Jordan 6, and again, that was our one of the most beloved Jordan 6s, the white and red one. So unique that this shoe again retailed for $200. This now 17 that did release only a couple weeks back retailed at 300 US. So translate that, it was 330 or 390 depending on, I don't know why there was this discrepancy in Canada, but 330, let's call it, that's what the price was in Canada, is wild. Is wild to see that was the retail price for the ones that we saw in Canada. But actually, I saw more places that had that at 390 because of the briefcase than I saw at 330. But the thing that I'll take away from this is there's energy about this shoe. This shoe actually sold. You could not find the shoe within 30 minutes after its release. It was totally gone. All sizes. The resellers were after it. If you go back now and look at this specific shoe, this shoe is now retailing Canada-wise. It's retailing at $600, $650. Some are asking $700, all because of the lovely briefcase. I guess that's what it is. Like, did the technology change? This is not a Protro that Kobe would have introduced and enhanced the technology and the cushioning that's in the shoe. No, this shoe actually is exactly the same, give or take, materials, but it's exactly the same as the shoe that came out in 2002. And here we are, that this shoe is now retailing like $100 more US. Now, granted, again, there is a briefcase with this one. There was not before. So that makes this pretty unique. This is a season when this released, Jordan averaged 22.9 points. He was 38 years old, about to only turn 39 by the end of the season, or not even the end of the season, around All-Star, because we all know that Jordan's birthday is the 17th of February. Right. Normally, it's right in the middle of All-Star weekend. How lucky is it for Mike? So very unique that this shoe has meaning. The resellers were all after it. The OG heads are furious because they didn't get their hands on it. So that is a piece. We know that we're getting another one of these. The less popular UNC with the kind of like the UNC cloth collar that's on the inside. But I think just very exciting, as I was kind of reviewing for this podcast, is that we're also, for the first time since 2002, we are going to get the OG varsity red in the 17. Now, this one's my favorite. The red looks amazing. I remember playing basketball, and this guy wanted to buy them off my feet because they look so dope. Back, I guess, when I wore them in 92 in some then random men's league, as I used to, play pickup. Still play a little bit today, but random playing in some pickup league, a guy literally said, those are the coldest shoes I've ever seen. I need to buy them off your feet right now. So again, if you think about the technology, we got a blow air sole unit in the heel. I believe we got zoom in the front. We got the full length TPU or thermoplastic shank for stability. Again, the history of this shoe is inspired by jazz music, and there's musical notes that are all over the shoe. But we are going to get the red one later on this year, along with the UNC. So is this a renaissance of maybe we'll have more energy regarding Jordan 17s? Again, a model that most people don't give a lot of credit to. People weren't all over the Bulls one, which I think is dope. The copper one, which I think is fire. When those released only a couple years ago, we had the copper one retro again, I think in 2016, and the Bulls one came out in 2017. But we didn't have a lot of people chasing after this shoe. So Really interesting that people would now be, see the Jordan 17 as a hot commodity. So, I know people, if you think of the overall history of the Jordan 17, I know people would love to see the black and chrome come back out, but I think the college blue is probably the one that the market needs. I think if we're going to get the red, we need the college blue. That one definitely has to be one that resurfaces, and it should be really exciting if we in fact actually get that one back on the market. So think about the Jordan 17. Pretty amazing that we actually have a Jordan beyond 14. And again, 14, this was the last shot. This is why that one still has energy. It was the one of the 6 championship. So this is why we have energy behind the Jordan 60, or behind the 14. But we'll have to think about whether we actually have energy beyond any other Jordan that's not the 14. So 16s have come out. Ginger, not so great. No one wants to see 15s. We've had 18s. 18 black was crazy when that launched in like 2017. So let's see what happens with more 17s that hit the market. Now, if you didn't know the designer, Wilson Smith the third, I don't think he really designed many other shoes, other inspirations in the shoe other than Jazz, the Aston Martin, which is obviously Jordan's a big car guy. And the soles were said to have come from a golf course, or that the inspiration came from a golf course that Jordan obviously loves golf. Now, there's things I love about the shoe, the fit, the comfort. It's, you take it out of the box and you can wear it right away. I am just like the Jordan 5, the lace locks, not a huge fan of. They had to come off immediately for me when I wore this shoe. And, again, we have some energy. The shoe actually did come in a mule. So again, if you're not familiar with the mule, looks like the sneaker in the front. They cut the heel off in the back, and it's like a sandal you slip on. That one went for like $100 back in the day. Not interested in those whatsoever. So we got a 17 that just came out. It actually in 2002, 2003, it retailed for 150 was the low. Actually, 200 was the high, and this one went for 230 or 330 or 390 in Canada. So pretty unbelievable the influx and inflation of prices. And because it was limited, you couldn't get your hands on that one. I remember back in 2002, 2003, I had red, I had college blue, I had black, I had UNC. I didn't get the black low. I think decided I was done because I really wanted the lightning, and I already had a black one. So it says I need the lightning to complete what I wanted for that set. I didn't get the black low, and when I didn't get the lightning, I said I was done with the shoe, and I moved on. Bulls did come out, did like it. Copper did come out. I thought it would look totally different than the other shoes, and I was excited because there was no shroud. So that was a big piece for me, and people are excited about a Jordan 17. So again, it's because of the briefcase. That's what people are saying on the street. So you tell me in the comments, give me feedback on Instagram. But people were excited about the Jordan C because of a briefcase. I know that this briefcase has been talked about literally since its inception 22 years ago. People wanted to buy the briefcase separately. People wanted the countdown pack to come in a briefcase. People wanted so many different things with this briefcase. They wanted to, be able to, see people put it on, resale apps and just be able to buy the briefcase. But no one's breaking up the shoe without the case unless you've worn the shoe through. And I use the briefcase ultimately for storage, amongst other things. So there is some impact with the briefcase, and obviously it is pretty cool. I still hung on to mine. My black one broke. The red one I think I still have. I had 2 of these at one point, but one did not make it again as I traveled from Vancouver to Toronto. Just didn't make it as I packed up shoes. So I still have this one, still hang on to it. It is kind of cool now that I look at it a little bit more, but I don't think seeing the huge increase in price just because of a briefcase, I don't know if it warrants that type of that price. So the other topic from the sneaker world that I wanted to get to is the resale market. So resellers are the ones that really drove up the demand and the price. And again, the OGs wanted it. The resellers got on it. There hasn't been many Jordans this year. Industrial blue, fours. I'm sure there'll be some energy this weekend about the oxidine green fours. That's kind of the hot commodity this week. Although it didn't make my top 10 in the previous episode, I know people are going to be after it. It's a clean shoe. It's a good look for the summer. Wasn't a top 10 for shoe for me for the summertime, but I'm sure people are definitely going to want it. And then we had Bread Reimagined. Those are really the three big shoes that have happened. Now there are some other ones, and if I flip back to the 17, would be cool if the Trophy Room came out again, or another reiteration of a Trophy Room, or a ginger version of a 17. So I think there's definitely some reimagined colors that they could do with the 17, but the resale market is the one that drove it up. I don't know if they all need to come out with the briefcase. It'd be very interesting now to see if the next one came with no briefcase. Does that mean anything? I don't know if it's been confirmed with the red and also the UNC low. Are they going to drop with briefcases? But saying all that, if this one, the Lightning, drop with the briefcase, how can they not drop the other two with the briefcase? So the red one would come with a red briefcase. I don't know if they'll redo the case. The UNC never came with the case. Again, the black or any of the lows didn't come with the case. So it'll be very interesting what the spin and what the play on things are. But I think the very unique piece right now that we have out there is the resale market is, again, the ones that drove this Jordan up higher demand than most warrants. Like, if you can imagine, a Jordan 17 outsold a Jordan 1, or even some of the Jordan 3s or 12s that have dropped this year. It's pretty amazing. But I think the big news that kind of hit the sneaker market, and from a resale perspective, is probably, and there's obviously lots of resellers out there. They're part of the culture. They help drive the business. They help liquidate stuff. There's a place for resellers. And I think it's just some of the tactics we've talked about many times on this podcast. But one of the resale inline stores that have storefronts in multiple malls, plus it's been around since 2017. It's been known for Yeezys, Jordans, any of your collabs. So whether you're talking some of your Action Bronson, New Balances that we've seen, V6s, to all the Yeezys, Pirate 350s, 350s for days, 700s, you name it, Yeezy slides, you could always get there. And then you think of just so how many Jordans, Emma Meunier, you think of Travis Scott, some of these amazing shoes that they'd have in cases. We now have word that Plus, I think it's got 8 stores around Canada, and they just expanded to the 8th store and redid the Yorkdale store, have announced that they're going to close 7 of the stores. Around Toronto and Vancouver, that's where they're predominantly built. It was announced today on Yorkdale. Not only will that close, I think only the one in Square One is the one that's going to stay as a brick and mortar store. So imagine, you just did a store, it's now going to close, and you have 7 stores around the GTA. It's the biggest footprint of any of the resale shops that we have in Canada. It's unbelievable that they're going to close, but that is the nature of business. And here, I'll even read their letter. To people like us, after 7 incredible years of building Plus into Canada's largest retailer of exclusive sneakers, streetwear, and collectibles, we find ourselves at a turning point. Due for unforeseen circumstances, we've had to close our most recent reopened flagship store at Yorkdale. This, and combined with the global economic downturn, has led us to a very difficult decision to close 7 of our 8 locations and consolidate all of the operations to Square One. To everyone who has walked through our doors, shared in our passion, to help us build this incredible community. Thank you. Your support and energy has been a cornerstone of our success. Plus has always been more than a store. It has been a community for people like us. Obviously, you can see a play on Kendrick's "Not Like Us," people like us. We are deeply grateful for all the memories that we've shared together thus far. Special thanks to our dedicated staff, to those that have worked hard to make everything possible. From our first location in Gastown, Vancouver, to opening Canada's top retail centers, our journey has been driven by a team that does not shy away from challenges. It'd be committed to navigating through this period and ensuring Plus continues to serve you better. Thank you for your understanding, and stay tuned for further updates. Love, people like us. So unbelievable that they've had to close, but this is a sign. If you didn't know it before, I would not say that reselling is done, but the change in sneaker culture and what is reselling and what is of value has definitely changed. No longer can you buy Jordan 1 mids, no longer can you buy Jordan 1 highs, and they have this extremely high resale value. There will be others. There's rumors that we got a band or a bread Jordan 1 coming. That will be worth money. That we know we have Amam in your product. We have a 5. We have a couple other joints that are coming later this year. There's supposed to be a 3. Those will be worth money. We know we have all these collaborations with New Balance and Saucony and some. Those are worth money. But the average launch, whether it's hyped, whether it's limited quantities, that can't float a business. And with particularly the economic changes in the world, people can't pay 2 and 3 times the value of a shoe that it retailed for. People are just making that decision with interest rates and the cost to have a mortgage. Those that are young homeowners like myself cannot, are just choosing not to spend their money on the shoe that they have to have. They're buying what they want, or they're not buying anything at all. There's definitely been an influx of sneakers from New Balance and Saucony and even other Nikes, Jordans, and Adidas shoes, that there's such a choice that is available now on shelves in regular retail stores like Foot Locker, like Champs, like others. There's not a need to go to these resale stores and spend $1,500 or $1,000 or $900, depending on the shoe. Now, hey, if you have money and you're doing great and this economic downturn is not impacting you, want to drop $1,500 on a pair of canary yellow Travis Scott, people are going to do it. It's still going to happen. Those shoes are still going to sell out. They're not going to be readily available. We know Kobe's are coming back. We had a Kobe 5 Girl Dad that was launching for Father's Day week. That still not readily available. You can buy it at a resale store or a retail store. You can buy it at a resale store, but the retail store is going to sell out in a matter of minutes. The demand is still going to be really high, and that's going to be a shoe that's going to be resold. But the fact is that there's just not enough shoes to drive a business moving forward that you could do full time. And then it's different. Like if you are a reseller and you're doing it in your basement, or you're doing it out of your condo, or you're doing it at the back of your friend's barbershop, whatever it may be, and all the power to you for everyone that is finding a way to get their hustle on. That's one thing. But when you have a staff, when you have rent, when you have overhead, when you have to do advertising, all of that ends up costing money. And if you're driving enough profit, and the thing is about Plus, all the power to them. They're great. They were been a great brand, and hey, they've been part of the community. But the problem is when you can't turn the product fast enough. And hey, they've had, in Yorkdale a couple of times we saw over the last couple of years, they opened a second store in the we call it the OG wing, where Aritzia is, but the opposite end of Aritzia, closer to where the Bay is. And they've sold apparel there, and they've sold, very little shoes and kept their original store. Then they downsized, then they just reopened the new store, and now it's actually going to have to close. So feel bad for the staff, feel bad for a lot of different people, feel bad for, obviously that we don't want to see retail close in Canada. Retail is still very important, but that niche market is now shifted. 5 years ago, there was room for them. There was a need for them to be part of the community and to provide customers choice. We were still pre-pandemic, and the sneaker market was as hot as it probably ever was. The pandemic, accelerated it, and now that we're on the outside, looking back, although there are still some COVID cases that are out there, it is totally different than where it is today. So pretty amazing and pretty sad that these guys are going to have to close. I don't know if that now paints a picture for many other resale stores that are in various malls. They're probably one of one. We got some that are on the street. I don't know how they survive. Like, this may be just how the sneaker market starts to move. And I'm not saying that the brands are going to make any less product, but maybe the products have to come in line more so with what people can afford versus what the market value of StockX or GOAT or wherever is telling you how much it's going to cost. Because right now it's just out of control how much the resale prices differs from the retail price. So it could be a sign. It could be just now other businesses are going to rethink of exactly how they decide to do their business. So whether you're a premium hype or whether, and that was one that actually was in the atrium, and that didn't last more than a couple years. Again, location, sometimes the biggest thing. And Plus was in a great location. They were in the best malls and the best areas in Canada, and they couldn't survive. So what does that mean for resale stores, moving forward? It's a very interesting topic. And again, any feedback you have, would love to hear it. Hit me up on Instagram. This will be on YouTube along with wherever you stream. So you definitely can get it on Apple, or you can get it on Spotify, or you can get it on iHeartRadio, wherever you get your goods, Google, the whole 9 yards. But times are changing for how people consume their sneakers, and I think we have to be open to all the possibilities of what that can look like. Same time, we got to think about the things that are coming next, and how do you value your money. I think one of those things in the sneaker community, and many have gone up and down, including myself, you just overindulge in sneakers, and you got to peel back, and you got to ensure that there's room for all of your life and not just not the sneakers in your life. So it's really important that you take the time to value and balance, how you decide to spend your money. But definitely big news. I would say that a consignment store, the biggest one we had in Canada, as not even consignment, I'm sure they did some consignment, but a resale store is actually going to be the one that closes. So really think about what does that mean and how things are going to now move forward. But, I've always say, if you like something, that's what you should focus your energies on. Don't worry about what the hype says. Don't worry about what the value of the shoes. If you like it and you enjoy it and you like to wear it, or you like to style it, or you like to perform and play in it, then that's your joint. That's what you should stick with, and that's what you should roll with. So that's it from Sneaks, Rhymes, and Life. So all sneakers this week, some good releases. Again, Oxidized Green, Jordan, Jordan 4 that launches this week, excuse me. But again, another one, really exciting to see. DT96, Dion's been flossing this one for the last 6 months. I know Colorado season did not end the way that they were hoping. It's the OG one. I've seen he's even posted up with a Lambo painted like the DT96 Max, and pretty excited that one's launching in this week. So some good stuff happening. Again, you got to cop what you like and enjoy what's out there. But Sneaks, Rhymes, and Life, appreciate y'all. That is the end of this episode. So again, you can find me on on YouTube. You can definitely find me wherever you stream your podcast. But that's it from Sneaks, Rhymes, and Life. Energy around the 16, the closing of Plus, and DT96 on the way. We out.